are here with another Kemimoto soundbar review. This video is sponsored by Kemimoto. They sent me their new soundbar. So we're gonna tear it out of the box. We're gonna install it on this Polaris Razor XP1000, and then we'll go test it out in the elements and see how it performs. I did review last year's model. If you guys are interested in that, you can check out my other video. So I'm guessing this is probably gonna be very similar to how the last year's sounds, but this one does come with some other features. It has LED lights on it and stuff, and it's shaped differently. This is more of a square, whereas the other one's more of like a cylinder shaped style soundbar. Looks like it's packed fairly good. It's being shipped. Oh wow, that's heavy. Alright, so here is got some more stuff in here. So this is the soundbar we got out of it. Like I said, it's more of a square shaped, or it's more of a rectangular shape rather than the cylinder shaped soundbar. It's definitely got some weight to it. I'm gonna grab the other one and compare it. We got our roll cage brackets. They're a clamp style bracket. They squeeze down. Yeah, I have to look up last year's bracket, but I did like the brackets. They held down very good. Now, just like last year's, it came with a like a hardwire. So if you want to hardwire that to a switch or to the battery, it came with this adapter to do that. If you didn't want to just snip off the end of it, we will be eventually hardwiring this, but for now we're just gonna plug it into the cigarette lighter or the 12-volt port. So this is all your so here's all your cables. So it's got an extra cable here for the LED lights in the back, and man, this just feels heavier than last year's. I'm gonna go grab the other one. All right, so this is last year's model. As you can see, it's more rounded, which I think it looks pretty cool. This one's actually longer, and it's longer and it's thicker, a little bit thicker. I think it's just because it's rounder. If you guys have made it this far into the video, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if you like this type of content from the Brapaholics. When it comes to weight, I would say they're both about the same. So the remote, compared to last year, is different, and they're giving us 2 fuses. The fuses are going to be for the 12-volt port. This used to have a sound system hooked up. There's actually an old speaker pod over there, and it had an amplifier mounted on it. It was actually mounted into the roof. We didn't like it, so we took it out. We were planning on mounting the amplifier under this hood. That's why it has a turbo scoop hood. Well, mainly it was for looks, but it was also for extra space. So we were going to put the amplifier in there. But we decided not to do that, and now we got this. These soundbars are just plug and play. You just hook it up to your roll cage, plug it into your battery, you're good to go. You don't have to deal with wiring stuff, and it's just all in one. It's already waterproof, dust proof. Let's get to installing it. So one thing that I liked about the old style compared to this one is on the ends of the old one, all these cables were actually removable and you could plug them. This one, they're all integrated in. You can't remove them. So right here, this is an aux port, and I ain't gonna use an aux port, but so we can just cap that off. Well, on that one, it's got a cable coming off that's 4 inches long. Well, now that's gonna be dangling there, and I'm not gonna use it. This one actually has a USB port, which no one uses USB. I was having problems with the remote, but it seems to be working now. Not really sure what I did. I did swap batteries, but the new battery didn't work, so then I put the new battery back in, then I put the original battery back in, and now it seems to be working. So you can cycle through your modes. You got RGB changing. The back also has RGB. You can pick your color. You can turn the brightness down or up. This is all the way bright as it goes. There's like 6 or 7 different colors you can choose from. And then you can turn it to sync. We'll have to mess with the option. I'm guessing when you have music playing, then maybe the lights blink with it. Alright. I would say it sounds pretty similar to last year's model. I'm guessing there's not too many differences. The speaker sizes do look a little different, it's hard to say. Now, this is as loud as it goes. It's pretty loud in a garage with nothing on. I think this one gets way louder than last year's. I had a little bit of trouble hearing last year's model, a little bit. But granted, I didn't have a windshield on, so I had a lot of wind noise coming through. Now this Razor's loud, so we're gonna see how it compares to this loud Razor. So right now the RGB is just on random, but you can sync it. So you can sync it to the music, it looks like. It's hard to say what options I'm on. So that's off. That's just on strobe, I think. No, that's syncing through. Okay, so it's doing it. That sounds good. So like last year, there's really, can't tell any difference between the equalizer on this thing. It's got some good bass, and it's got really good treble, but it don't have a subwoofer, so you're not going to get that vibration low end that you would get out of a subwoofer. But for a soundbar, it sounds good.
Yeah, try and go further, try and go farther than ever without a burner, feeling like I never quit moving.
Alright, let's go take it out and see how it's doing. Now, it is January right now, and we got dumped on with snow, but then we got a lot of warm weather, so it is super wet. The snow is melting and it's raining right now. It's been a weird winter. So it's gonna get wet. We have a roof and windshield on, so it ain't gonna get like totally covered in water by any means. So you can get the soundbar wet, it'll still work. Now the speakers might sound all muffly and stuff because there's water on the speakers. So take it with a grain of salt. It is able to get wet. Doesn't mean you could play it while it's wet. If you're gonna power wash the machine, don't aim the power washer straight at the speakers. You can tear the speakers up and stuff if you do that. That being said, let's ride. Right, so I got the particle separator. That's pretty loud when you're on the trail. That's that whining noise you're hearing. This exhaust is really loud. But I can still turn the radio up, I can still hear it. But as loud as it goes, it's pretty loud. It's knocking right by your ear. We'll turn it down a little bit. Now we're going to take it down this trail. It is really wet outside right now. Cable right here. I mean, I'm gonna tie it up, but it's just dangling and in the way. I would like to see it like last year's, where you can unscrew it. Okay guys, I'm really impressed with the soundbar, so I will have this available down below if you guys are interested. For what it is, that is a very reasonable price as far as sound systems go. I think this one's gonna hold up pretty well. It feels like it's built pretty well, but time will tell on that. So a couple things I really don't like about this one are the cables all dangling on that side right there. I wish it was like last year's model where you could screw them in and then plug them up right on the end of that, so you just didn't have them dangling down. And another thing I don't like is this remote. It feels very chintzy. The remote's the only way you can change the colors on the RGB. So if this gets wet, it's cooked, most likely. I don't know how well waterproof this thing is, but I just don't see it being very waterproof. So and if you end up losing this when it's bumpy out or something, you're screwed with. Other than that, I think it's a really good unit, and it's gonna look really good, and it just looks really good on this razor with all the whips and then the fang lights and stuff. It just ties it all in together, and it sounds really good. It's loud. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.